That was a single mine. $800. Iran has 6,000.
One mine, 15-foot hole through 3 inches of steel, a $200 million warship nearly broken in half. And that was just one.
But there was a ship built to find them, wooden hull.
Zero magnetic signature.
Sonar that actually works. It found every mine it hunted.
Mine destroyed! Channel clear! Crew celebrates another successful sweep.
And then America sent them to the scrapyard, January 2026. All 4.
January 2026, at a naval base in Bahrain, 4 wooden warships sit quietly at the pier for the last time.
A massive, heavy-lift cargo ship floods its ballast tanks and sinks its deck to waterline, ready to swallow warships whole.
Tugboats push the first wooden minesweeper toward the cargo deck, like pallbearers carrying a coffin to its grave.
As ballast pumps roar, the wooden hull rises from the sea for the last time.
These are the only purpose-built minesweepers America had in the Persian Gulf, and they are heading to the scrapyard.
The cargo ship clears Bahrain harbor, carrying $400 million of irreplaceable mine-clearing technology straight to the scrapyard.
For 30 years, these wooden ships found and destroyed sea mines in the Gulf.
Five weeks after these ships left Bahrain, Iran began dropping mines into the Strait of Hormuz. The timing could not be worse.
The water looks calm, but every red buoy marks a mine sitting just below the surface.
A single mine turns a supertanker into an environmental disaster. Oil pours into the Gulf while rescue crews race to respond.
Inside the operations center, officers search for minesweepers on the map. The Gulf is empty. Every mine-clearing ship is gone.
The only 2 replacement minesweepers assigned to the Middle East were spotted this week in Malaysia, thousands of miles away.
$600 million of American warship sits in a tropical port, while tankers burn in the Strait of Hormuz. Oil prices explode upward. $3 to $5 billion in economic damage every single day the strait stays closed. This is what happens when you scrap the only ships that could save you.
This is where America built the most specialized warship in history. I am going to show you exactly how they made it.
Building a minesweeper starts here. Douglas fir and white oak logs hand-selected for grain direction and 0 structural defects.
We use Douglas fir for its incredible strength and durability. As you can see from the tight grain here, it's ideal for shipbuilding.
Each plank is kiln-dried for weeks at controlled temperature until moisture drops to exactly 12%.
Dried timber feeds through a massive bandsaw blade. Every plank is milled to exact thickness, measured down to fractions of an inch.
White oak ribs are sealed inside a 20-foot steam chamber. 3 hours of live steam softens the wood enough to bend. Workers have minutes before the oak cools and hardens. 4 men bend the steaming timber around the jig in a race against time.
Frame after frame bent by hand and bolted to the keel. This is a dying craft, and these were the last ships that needed it.
The skeleton is complete. Dozens of steam-bent oak ribs rise from the keel, forming the bones of an invisible warship.
Every single joint inspected by hand. 0 tolerance for gaps. $100 million of precision built into living wood. Every plank is individually fitted by hand. The shipwright marks cuts and planes each one for a watertight joint against the ribs. Silicon bronze bolts, not steel. Every single fastener in the hull is non-magnetic. 1 steel bolt could trigger a mine.
Steel is magnetic. Bronze is not. That simple difference is the reason this entire ship is built from wood and bronze.
Plank by plank, the hull takes shape. Dozens of shipwrights work at every level, fitting each board by hand to the curved ribs. Rotten oakum driven between every plank seam with a caulking iron and mallet, an ancient technique still critical for modern warfare. Marine compound seals over the oakum, creating a waterproof barrier in every seam. No metal, no magnetism, completely invisible to mines. The completed hull. Hundreds of hand-fitted planks sealed with oakum and compound. Zero magnetic signature, invisible to every mine beneath it.
3 years of hand labor by shipwrights who no longer exist. This hull cannot be built again. The craft died with these ships.
Every inch sanded smooth by hand. The wooden hull must be perfectly prepared before the fiberglass armor goes on.
Layers of fiberglass cloth draped over the wood, non-magnetic like the hull beneath it. This waterproofs and armors the ship. Clear epoxy resin saturates every fiber, bonding fiberglass to wood. The cloth turns transparent, creating an impact-resistant composite shell.
Vacuum bags compress the resin and fiberglass into a perfect bond. The underwater hull must survive mine blast shock waves without failing.
Magnetic mines see metal. Acoustic mines hear sound. This ship must be silent. Every vibration source must be isolated or eliminated.
Engine isolation mounts machined from solid rubber. These absorb every vibration before it reaches the hull and betrays the ship.
Each blade machined on a 5-axis CNC mill to mirror finish. Any imbalance creates vibration, and vibration means detection.
Polymer bearings eliminate metal contact. Water-cooled exhaust silencers kill engine noise. At 4 knots, this ship is almost silent.
No magnetic signature, no acoustic signature. This ship is a ghost on the water, and that is exactly why it could clear mines.
The sonar housing carved from a solid block of titanium on a 5-axis CNC mill. This is the brain that finds mines underwater.
Piezoelectric ceramics placed one by one inside the titanium housing. These tiny elements send and receive the sound waves that find mines.
Forged steel jaw blades for the hydraulic cable cutters. These slice through mine anchor chains, letting the mine float up for disposal.
Underwater speakers sealed in waterproof housings. Towed behind the ship, they blast sound to trigger acoustic mines from a safe distance.
Sonar to find them, cutters to free them, charges to destroy them. This ship was a complete mine-killing machine, and America scrapped it.
The sonar body descends into the ship through a hatch with inches to spare. Millions of dollars of technology lowered by hand and crane.
Cable cutters and charge davits bolted to the stern deck. This is where mines are brought to the surface and destroyed one by one.
The acoustic sweep array ready to deploy. Towed behind the ship, it blasts underwater sound, triggering mines from a safe distance ahead.
$100 million, 4 years of labor. A ship built from wood, bronze, and sashling.
This is what replaced it. $600 million per ship. Aluminum hull. And it cannot do the job. Here is why.
$600 million of aluminum and automation. It looks impressive, but aluminum is a metal, and metals trigger magnetic mines.
Wood reads 0 on the magnetic sensor. Aluminum spikes instantly. This ship cannot enter a minefield without triggering every mine around it.
Aluminum hull triggers mines. Sonar cannot see. Drones fail 70%. Available 30%. $600 million each per ship.
One hydraulic hose breaks and the entire mine countermeasures system goes offline. Single points of failure throughout every critical system.
4 minesweepers cost $400 million total. 3 LCS replacements cost $1.8 billion. 6 times the price for a system that fails.
The minesweeper enters the minefield and works. The replacement stands outside and watches. That is the difference America scrapped.
The Navy's own Mine Warfare Division chief admitted it in a classified briefing. The sonar cannot see. The vehicles are unreliable.
2 ships in Malaysia, 1 somewhere in the Indian Ocean, 0 in the Gulf. America has effectively no mine-clearing capability at Hormuz.
The berths where 4 minesweepers lived for 30 years sit empty. The ships are on their way to a scrapyard in Philadelphia.
The best Europees as the rank for Bollington's as an expert saver of the right city.
In 1991, it took 51 days to clear 907 mines. They had dedicated ships and maps.
Contact mines, acoustic mines. mixed together in murky, shallow water with strong currents. A nightmare for any sonar system.
Experts estimate minimum 3 to 6 months to clear Hormuz. Every single day costs $3 to $5 billion in global economic damage.
Ships are rerouting around Africa. Weeks added to every voyage. Fuel costs doubling.
In Philadelphia, the wooden minesweepers are being torn apart for scrap. 4 years to build, days to destroy.
6,000 mines at $800 ETH. Total cost $5 million. That is the entire investment shutting down global shipping. America spent $2.2 billion, 400 million scrapped, 1.8 billion on ships that do not work, 5 million won.
An $800 mine is defeating $2.2 billion of American planning, 440 to 1. The math does not lie.
Every day the counter climbs. $3 to $5 billion in damage per day. The mines cost 5 million total. The math is devastating. 1991, 907 mines, 51 days with ships and maps. 2026, 6,000 mines, 0 ships, no maps. Months, not weeks.
6,000 mines sitting in a warehouse. $800 each. $5 million total. This is the weapon that closed the strait.
5 million in mines outweighs 2.2 billion in American spending. The balance scale of modern warfare has completely inverted.
5 million in mines, 400 million scrapped, 1.8 billion wasted, billions in daily damage. This is the most expensive mistake.
The ships wait. The mines wait. The world pays billions while the only ships that could fix this are being cut apart for scrap metal.
4 years of craftsmanship, timber to hull to warship, wood, bronze, fiberglass, and silence, built by hands that no longer exist.
And this is where it ended. Years of irreplaceable craftsmanship torn apart for scrap metal, 5 weeks before they were needed most.
The busiest shipping lane on Earth sits empty. Mines below.
America scrapped its $100 million minesweepers 5 weeks too early. An $800 mine won. This is the most expensive mistake. $800 mines, 400 million in ships scrapped, 1.8 billion wasted, billions in damage every single day.
$800. Floating, waiting, silent. This is the...
America destroyed its own mine clearing capability, and now $800 mines are winning. That is the most expensive mistake ever made.
This production by MassaBuild is created for educational and illustrative purposes using advanced AI technologies. Every frame in this video has been transformed through a multi-stage editing process. From GIF conceptualization to video generation, human creativity leads every step. MassaBuild channel is dedicated to original AI craftsmanship and follows all 2026 YouTube monetization rules.